All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Garage Closes at 9, episode 2. Just want to first start out by thanking everybody that participated in some way, shape, or form with episode 1. Whether that was you guys watching episode 1 on YouTube, just following the content we were given on social media, or even participating in the polls that we put out on our Instagram story and Instagram post for our NBA mock draft. I'll get into the results of that in a minute. I just want to thank everybody. That meant a lot to us. Just the engagement we had on all three aspects was huge for us. And I'll give Andrew and John an opportunity to say thank you right now as well. But I also want to give a huge thank you to our producer, Tanner Rumpal. He was the man behind the scenes that you guys saw all the edits that were on the first episode, all of the reels that were put out. That's all Tanner. We definitely could not do that without him. So just to give a huge shout out to Tanner. His Instagram is in our bio on the Garage Closes at 9. Give him a follow. He's the real MVP of this team for sure.
Yeah, man. Shout out Tanner. Without him, none of this is possible. We struggled to get a Zoom meeting going. So without Tanner, none of the edits, the Instagram reels, none of that's possible. So thank you, Tanner. Also shout out to the people that watched, even if you're not sports fans. I had people that watched that let me know that they like the podcast and they don't even watch basketball. So that lets us know we're on the right path. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man, just to piggyback off of that, first of all, showing love again to Tanner. Knowing that guy literally since I was born. My brother was actually, when he was born, his Tanner's older brother was in the room watching my brother getting shot out. But yeah, known that guy forever, man. He's been a wizard behind the keyboard for us. Anything we ask of him, he's been doing it, no complaints, or he's giving us feedback, what he thinks that can make the podcast better. So much love, Tanner, and also to all the people who generously participated in our polls and decided that I had the best team. Much love to y'all. Thank you guys for knowing ball. I'm glad to see we have nothing wrong with casual viewers, like Jonah said, but it is good to know, you guys were kind of rubbing off on you and you guys might know a little more ball than some of these guys on the screen with me. But yeah, much love to you guys. We're gonna keep on shooting out all these videos as soon as possible. We appreciate all the support, all the love, family, friends, strangers, and yeah, man, it's looking good. We appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, so huge thank you to both of you, the viewers, Tanner. But yeah, Andrew gets us kind of into what I wanted to talk about next, the results of the first episode. We did an NBA mock draft. We picked 5 players from the current NBA, assuming they were all healthy. And we had 2 polls going. We had it on our Instagram story, and we also had a poll going on an Instagram post, combining both of those. So on the Instagram story, Jonah got 20% of the vote. Andrew got 38%. And I'm sorry, this is on the Instagram post. Yes, Instagram post. Jonah got 20%. I got 43% to lead the way on the post. Andrew got 38. On the Instagram story, it went me and Jonah getting 31, Andrew getting 37%. And when you add that up, Jonah finishes in third, 25.5% of the vote.
That's crazy.
And this is as close as you could possibly get for a final. Andrew beats me 37.5% to 37%. So the people have spoken. Andrew Wetter wins round 1 of the Garage Closes at 9 NBA mock draft. It was close. Thank you again for everyone who voted.
And let me
That
just say
was
something.
a
Let me
really
just
good
say something about
outcome.
that real quick. Let me just say something about that, Ben. I appreciate everyone that voted, but hopefully the more we watch this podcast, the more we realize um, the difference in basketball knowledge. These guys over here on the screen like to get the people that maybe if they reach their potential that they could be this. Maybe under these circumstances they could do this. I picked the proven guys. I had LeBron, Steph. I had Jason Tatum. I had champions on my team, but these guys picked a bunch of hopefully we could win. So I just want to say
But all that to finish in last, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's a whole. I could barely hear you from down there, Jonah. Can you say that one more time, dude? Jeez, man. The
Yeah.
people have spoken clearly. I think they know who kind of has the best basketball brain, maybe GM skills as well. Jonah, not a shocker at all. You ended up bottom of the bottom of the barrel.
LeBron and Steph, like
Bro, nobody
People
worried
didn't
about
want 40-year-old
that.
LeBron, man.
Exactly,
36-year-old
bro.
Steph Curry, man.
We don't got no gray hairs on our team, baby.
that's
Come on.
crazy. We got rings on. We have rings on my team. We didn't have any. Oh, he made the All-Star game this year. None of that. We had rings.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, well,
as this
you finished in
podcast
third.
yeah, as this podcast continues, I think that people are gonna slowly start to question how this guy's got a position as a college basketball coach. But good thing he's not a GM. You know, he knows he's better with the players than he is maybe making teams and get takes. So like I said, you guys are gonna have a lot of questions for us, especially about some of their IQs. But I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. Not everybody could be first. I appreciate Jonah being last because, like I said, I mean, there's three of us. One of us got to be first. Vinny decided he wanted to take the second place, and there's nothing wrong with being the second best. I mean, at the end of the day, I like a silver medal. I think a lot of people do. Um, but I was just born for gold, baby. So appreciate you
You
guys.
can have your moment. You can have your moment right now. This is game one. Game
Yeah,
one. You
this
can
was
have your
the
moment. I'll let
first
you have
the
it.
first poll. Like it's you got one win. Congratulations. Like you got a ring, Drew. There you go. But we'll see about
Yeah, that's one, baby.
that.
One
It's
for
a win in the
one.
book for Andrew. He gets the first one. He can have his moment. Just knowing when I get my win, I'll have my moment. And if Jonah gets his win, he can have
I,
his moment
I'm
too.
I'm winning everything today. I'm winning everything today.
All right, we'll see. So let's get into it then. So this episode, we're gonna stick still to NBA stuff. We got three segments for you guys, three debates, and the first one we're gonna go over is the best number three options in the NBA right now. So we each picked out three players. We don't know who these players are. It could be the same guys, could be different. Jonah claims that he doesn't think it's going to be the same. So each of us have three number three options, the best right now. And before I start that, I just want to say, like, the number three option, I think why it's going to be a good debate is because the number three option may not be the most talented number three option on a team, right? But it's got to be someone who fits. And we'll see how that's at least how I approached it. I don't know how the others approach it, but I think that's why this is going to be pretty good because the more talented guy might not be the one that fits with the two superstars, right? Because usually the third guy has to find a way to adjust and take, a step back and find a way to win games, right? So I think results is going to be a big part of this. Like you got to win games to, probably be a good number three option. That's the whole point of this. Like you want to win a championship. So let's see what the list is. So Jonah, I want you to give your top three guys first, and then I'll give mine, and then Andrew can finish it off.
All right, you want me to give all three?
Give all three right now.
All three. All right,
Yep.
so just to piggyback off what Vinny said, so number three option in my mind, I'm trying to win a championship. I'm not trying to look good on Instagram. I'm not trying to, oh, this guy, he's got a deep bag. I'm trying to win a championship. So all three of my guys have done that as a number three option. So I'm not, this
In
is
order. In order.
this is all facts. So at number three, for best number three options in the NBA, Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 19 points a game this year. He won a championship as a number three option behind Jokic, behind Jamal Murray. This guy's one of the best catch and shoot players in the league. He's an underrated defender, 6'10", long. As Laker fans, you guys shouldn't be making any type of faces when I'm saying Michael Porter Jr. He hits deadly threes in anyone's face. He If he wasn't a number three, I could see him averaging 24 or 25 points a game as a number two or a number one on a bad team. He was the best high school player in the country before he hurt his back. One of the most insane high school mixtapes I've ever seen. Michael Porter Jr. is my number three.
Um, I, I don't know a whole lot about the underrated defender part.
Absolutely.
But but
6'10.
but that's all right. His frame, he's got a good frame. He can rebound the ball a little bit. I wouldn't say he's an underrated defender. I would just say he's a defender. Um,
Underrated.
I'm not gonna say good or bad. I'm gonna just say he's a defender. But obviously the guy's a laser man. The dude could shoot the heck out of it. Us Laker fans, unfortunately, me and Vinny know a little bit too well about how he does in the playoffs too. Um, Not afraid to let that thing go about him too. I think he probably has one of the lowest career averages and assists I've ever seen, but that's no problem with that. I mean, a bucket, like at the end of the day, shoot or shoot. You got to get a bucket when you need a bucket. I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that pick at all.
Yeah, I've seen some big time shots in the playoffs. So
Absolutely
it's a
underrated.
good pick. It's a good pick.
Number
Uh,
two,
yeah.
this guy, I was torn. I didn't know if I should put him on the most underrated players or number three options, but I decided to go with number three. Another proven champion as a number three option, plays on a stacked team, so his numbers don't indicate how big of an impact he makes on this team. He's averaging 16, 4, and 4 this year. You can't name me three defenders on the perimeter that I'd rather have than this guy. Um, Getting big minutes to help USA win gold in the Olympics. A lot of people are questioning why he's on the court, but I think on any team in the NBA, this dude is starting. He's starting on every team. And his name is rarely mentioned. But at number two for me, give me Derek White, the Boston Celtics.
So hold on. I wanna interrupt that real quick. Is Derek White the number three option in Boston, or is it Porzingis?
I knew that question was going to come up. You want to know why?
I
I was debating Derek White or Porzingis. You want to know why I chose Derek White?
Let's hear it.
Availability. Kristaps missed, I don't even know how many playoff series the past couple of years, and Boston's still winning. So I think Kristaps might have better scoring numbers, but I don't think his impact on both ends of the court is at the level of Derek White. I think without Derek White, Boston is not the dominant team we know them to be. I think Derek White is a perfect fit on any team in the league. Can defend, can catch and shoot, makes all the little plays. I love Derek White. Give me him on any team.
So where's Drew Holiday in that conversation? He's the number five option.
Drew Holiday's number five. 10 points a
Number
game.
five option.
Stop it.
but that, he's
I
not
don't
there
know.
as well. Like he's
I
there a lot.
understand that, but he's proven that he can do that on two championship teams, right? With the Milwaukee and Boston.
Milwaukee doesn't get rid of him if he's like that. Drew Holiday is a great defender, but offensively, I think Derek White adds a little more with his shooting.
All right. So you got in Boston, you go Tatum as the number one option, Jaylen Brown the number two, and then Derek White is the number three option in Boston for you.
Absolutely.
All
Derek
Yeah,
right.
man. Some people
Olympic
say
I can't
gold
argue it. I
medalist
can't argue
Derek
that.
White.
some
I
people
can't. Hey, he was getting more minutes than Jason Tatum in the Olympics.
You can't
Can't
name
argue
a
it.
team he's not starting on. The Lakers would love to have Derek White on that team.
Of course.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's a team that wouldn't love to have him on.
He beat out Jaylen Brown for Team USA and got minutes
Absolutely.
from Jason Tatum. So
Absolutely. All right, and my number one. This one's gonna be controversial, and I don't care. I don't look at stats. I don't look at aura. I look at wins, baby. I look at championships. This dude is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't care what anyone says. When you talk about leadership, when you talk about coach on the court, you talk about IQ. This dude is a dog, heart of a champion, four-time champion, arguably as a number three in some cases, maybe as a number four when they had KD on that team. But number three option, the best in the NBA, off stop shaking your head, Vinny. Off resume. Ask Steph Curry if this guy is valuable. The best number three option in the NBA still in 2025. Draymond Green.
Wow. Honestly,
Defense, baby. Defense.
I'm speechless right now. Is this thing rolling or is this
Defense,
actually
baby.
is this live or is this
Four
like a
rings. Four rings as a number 3.
I don't honestly I don't know what he's averaging right now,
It
but
doesn't
I would give
matter. It
you
doesn't
a
matter.
million dollars, a million. I'll give you my whole entire bank account right now if he's averaging over 9 points a game.
I
And
said,
that's the best third option in the league. And that's the best third option in the
do we
league.
like
Just stop.
defense? Do we like
Stop.
defense? Does
I
defense
love defense,
matter?
but the
All
two
right then.
guys you listed are just as good defenders, and they give you 8 more points, and
All right then.
they're arguably
All
better at everything
this
else.
is this
Hey,
is
ask
right
Steph Curry.
now.
In 2025,
It's 2020. Have you seen what Golden? Let me break it down for you. Golden State was struggling when Draymond was the number 2. He's not a number 2. This is best
Oh, but
number 3 options. Now that we got Jimmy Butler and he's motivated, he got his money, he found his joy. Slide Draymond to the number 3, and look at
so
we won like 14 out of 16 games. Golden State is going to be scary in the playoffs because number 3 option,
that's
Dray
not why.
on.
so
That's not
so
why. That's
it's not
not
because
why.
it's not because their second option, Andrew Wiggins, got traded for Jimmy
I don't
Butler.
want to hear about Andrew Wiggins. Don't say Andrew Wiggins. Stop it. Draymond Green.
That
Andrew Wiggins I did not. This is not on my bingo card this morning, bro. The Andrew
this
Wiggins
is this
disrespect is crazy, man. Yo, he
this
outplayed Jason Tatum in the finals, man. Stop
Hey,
it.
ask Steph Curry who would rather play with Draymond Green or Andrew Wiggins, and I bet you he'd agree with me. Stop it.
that
Hey,
is
he
a
won for both of
crazy
them.
number one.
That,
But
yeah,
all right.
Draymond
that
Green.
is, bro. No rapper. That is ludicrous, dog. That is crazy.
4 rings.
All right. All right. Right now on March 23rd, 2025, Draymond Green is done as number 3 option in the
Absolutely.
league.
Am I trying to
All
win a
right.
championship or am I trying to look good? Just let me know. If I'm trying to win,
Well,
give
we'll
me
see.
Draymond.
We'll
I don't
see.
know.
We'll see what happens in the West. We'll see
All
what
right.
happens in the
You also,
Yeah,
West.
we will
you
see.
also got to make sure you're playing in the championship game because you're not suspended.
Right.
So, I mean,
Hey, if we would
All
have
right.
5 rings if Draymond wasn't suspended in 2016, but let's not get into that either.
So which one is it? You're taking Draymond Green or your number 1 pick, LeBron James, in the mock draft? What are we doing here?
Hey, number 3 option, Draymond. Let's see
All
your
right.
list. Let's hear your list.
Okay. Okay.
that's crazy.
I can tell you right now, it's a different list.
And everyone on my list has a ring.
All right. I first want to start with I'm not saying that these guys are going to be on my list, but there's a couple guys on a couple teams that I want to ask you guys. Where do you think they stand? Are they a number 2 or a number 3 option? Or are they a number 4 option? Okay. And then I'll get into my list. But there's a couple guys that I was weighing my options, but I couldn't go ahead and pick them because I didn't know kind of where they stand on their team, just like with the Porzingis and the Derek White. So with the Clippers, would you guys say that it's Norman Powell or Zubac? Because the numbers speak volume.
Norman Powell.
Mm, I don't know.
Zubac's averaging
Zubac's been
16 and
playing
13 right
basketball.
now with the
Yeah,
Clippers.
Zubac's been playing great basketball lately. I would probably say Norman Powell.
Averaging 23 and a half points.
Yeah. What happened to Vinny?
Yo, did I just disconnect or do we all disconnect? All right, so you guys got Norman Powell as the number 2 in Clipperland.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's like I'm not mad about either. Some people say he's a 2, some people say he's a 3. I think with them, it's not even like that. Maybe 2A, 2B.
Okay. And then with Cleveland, you guys have Darius Garland as the number 2 and then Evan Mobley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's more definitive than the Clippers sitch.
And then in Oklahoma City, you guys have Chet or Jalen Williams as the number 2 option and versus number 3 option.
I got Chet as the third option, not Chet Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams as the second.
All right, so my number 3 then with that said, I will go with Chet Holmgren as the best number 3 option in the Western Conference and in the entire league right now.
Best?
Is that fair to say?
Holmgren?
As the third best.
Third best. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, third best. Okay.
I'm
I'm
about
going
to tear you up, Vinny.
3. I'm going 3, 2, 1. Okay.
So Chet 3.
My best number 3 option, number 2 on the list, I'm going to go with Derek White. So
Great
now when we
pick, Vinny.
discussed this, no, when we
Great.
discussed this, I had Porzingis as the number 3 option, but we came to an agreement that Derek White is the number 3 option. You can't argue it. Defending world champions, Team USA, and I get it, like availability and whatnot. I think if he was healthy, I think Porzingis probably takes that from Derek White, but because he's missed a lot of time, I think Derek White that's a fine pick by you, Jonah. So he'll be on my list. And then one, I don't know how Jonah can't even have this guy on his list.
I'm gonna get pissed off if
Okay,
you say his name. I'm gonna get pissed off. Go ahead.
he just let me just make this clear. Without the 2 guys that he has been playing with, he's been averaging 30 over the last 2 weeks. Okay, even without one of the 2 stars that play on his team. Okay, and he is a guy that I think when I came, it's not the most talented player. It's one who fits. I think this guy has adapted to his role and found success. And I truly believe if he was on a team where he was the number 1 or 2 option, he'd be averaging 23, 24 points a game consistently. He's averaging about 19 and 6 right now. They made a huge trade a couple weeks ago. I think they're contenders in the West. They have 2 of the best players in the world as the number 1 and 2 option. And the best number 3 option in the league right now, on March 23rd, 2025, not 2016 with Draymond Green, okay? I'm going to take Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes, that's a great pick, Vinny. I don't want to get too much into mine, but let's just say great minds think alike. Great pick.
That
When LeBron and Luca have been out, it's not even the scoring. I mean, the guys putting up 30 while they're out in the last 5 to 10 games, but he's also getting like 8 to 12 assists a night. He's getting you 5 to 6 boards. Like he does everything. He doesn't turn the ball over. The guy's shooting on great splits, especially when he has the ball in his hands more, but he can still play off the ball whenever Luca and Braun are there.
sure?
What'd you say?
Are you sure he can play off the ball?
Yeah, I mean he does. I mean he has for the last 2 years. I mean he's been the third option in the last two
Yeah.
years.
All right.
You
So
could argue, hold on, you could argue that he was the number 4 option because with D'Angelo Russell, not that he should have been the number
that's
4
not
option.
helping your case. That's not helping your case of D'Angelo
No,
Russell.
I think that was a coaching issue. I think that the ball should have been in his hands more.
Stop it.
But
All right.
I mean, he's proven that he can play off the ball. He should have been the number 3 option, but
Can we have
Austin Reeves is he's as consistent of a number 3 option as you could have.
You can't play with LeBron and AD and then LeBron and Luca, and you can't be good in that role as a third option if you can't play off the ball. I mean, come on, let's be for real, bro. You got arguably the 2 most ball dominant guys in the league. How can you be good with them putting up 20 a night, good shooting splits, not turn the ball over if you're not good off the ball? Great at attacking closeouts. He's a guy where you swing it to him, 2 or 3 dribbles, it's a bucket. He could do that, or he could put you in a pick and roll and run a little offense. He could do everything. There's not one thing on the basketball court he can't do on the offensive side.
Let me ask you. Yeah, thank you. Does defense matter?
It does,
Of
but I
course,
don't.
defense matters.
He's not a bad defender. He competes. He
Yeah.
plays hard.
Yes, he is a bad defender.
No, he's not.
Let me,
Absolutely a bad defender.
Jonah.
Yeah,
Let me ask you.
Michael
Let me
Jordan.
ask you this.
Let's have an Austin Reeves conversation. No more Laker bias. No more. Let's have
Hey,
an
look,
honest Austin Reeves conversation.
I'll tell you this: if you're saying Michael Porter is an underrated defender, Austin Reeves ain't a bad defender. So let's get that clear.
I'd
But
rather be 6'10" than 6'3" and play defense. So let's.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this
No, no,
before
no,
Andrew
no,
gives
no.
his
Let
answer.
me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is if Austin Reeves was playing in Washington, does he get as much media coverage, or is he a benefit of playing one in LA, two playing with LeBron, three the way he looks? You know when people say sneaky athleticism, we know what that means. Is he a benefit of those three factors, or is he really just this unbelievable offensive player? Both
I think
Why would it be a knock on him that he plays in the big market of LA?
because
Of course, you're going to get more media attention by playing with the
absolutely
Lakers.
more
But
coverage. People talk about him more. What has Austin Reeves proven as a number three option where everyone's saying that he's now this best number three option because he's been with Luka and LeBron for a month. Now he's the best in the league over a guy like Draymond who has 4 rings as a number three
This is right now, the
right
best
now.
right now,
Since
I
it's
right
guarantee
this
you,
second.
2016, Jonah.
I guarantee you, if LeBron James was having an honest conversation off camera, would he rather have Draymond Green or Austin Reeves? I promise you he's taking Draymond Green on that
See,
team.
I think on
Promise.
camera he would probably say Draymond because of the resume, but off camera is when he would be like, "No, I'm not taking Draymond. I'm taking Austin Reeves."
Austin Reeves,
That is,
he's not a
That
good
is
number
that
three.
is that is some of the most outlandish stuff I've heard. I've heard a lot of outlandish stuff. I'm in Miami right now. I've been hearing a lot of crazy stuff. That is by far the most outlandish thing I've
That's
heard
that's not
all year.
outlandish because you guys are looking at Austin Reeves. I would rather have Austin Reeves as like a number two than a number three. He's too ball dominant. He's not good enough to be like your number one, but he could be a number two on a bad team and average 24, like you said. But to win a championship with him as your number three, he needs the ball too much. He's trying to do all this Trey Young, Shea flopping, and he's not that guy. He's a very good player, but as a number three, he needs the ball too much for me. Whereas I'd rather have a guy like Michael Porter catch and shoot, Derek White catch and shoot, Draymond lock you down and get assists and rebounds.
Oh, oh my
all right.
God.
Andrew,
That is,
give the
that is
list.
so
We're gonna
Something
let the
tells
people
me
decide.
something tells me that Austin Reeves may be on Andrew's list, but we'll see.
That's why I'm spending a
yeah.
lot of time on this because I already know we don't need to have this conversation twice. So I'm putting my case right now, and then we'll let the people decide. So go ahead.
You need to stay off these Miami Mai Tais, man.
Go
All right.
ahead.
I'll get into my list. Um, so this was pretty tough. I do think there's kind of like four that are universally considered as the best three options. Draymond Green wasn't even my top five. I don't think he's in anyone's top fives other than Jonah's. Um, anyways, though, um, so for my third best third option in the league, I'm gonna start it off with Derek White.
Thank
Champ,
you. So we all agree.
we all agree defense wins championships. The guy at the end of the day, like Jonah said, is a starter on any team. He's gonna play 40 minutes on any team. He does all the little things. Um, I I don't think it's crazy to say he's by far the best like rim protecting guard in the league, like shot blocking. Dude's incredible. Kind of gives me D Wade vibes when I watch him on the defensive end. I think Drew's better kind of at staying connected and kind of being really physical to defenders. But I think Derek, he's long, great at contesting shots, gonna get up, swat, meet you at the rim, not afraid of any smoke. Giving you 17, 4, and 4 a night. I like the guy. I'm pissed that the Celtics got him. Andrew Holiday, which is ridiculous.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, stupid. We would have to give up 6 firsts for those guys. But yeah, so D White as my number three. Obviously I don't have to go into it as much just because you guys have already we've already basically talked about that. Um, Now we'll get into my second best third option in the league, in my humble opinion. Um, so the next two guys on my list, we've already discussed a lot, so we don't necessarily have to go as deep in depth of what we think of these guys as third options in the league. But I do like Evan Mobley as the second best third option. I when he got drafted, I always thought he kind of has the closest um frame and skill set to be like a player like Anthony Davis. I don't think the ceiling is Anthony Davis. It could be. But he's definitely taken that leap this year. The guy's given 19 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists on a team with a lot of weapons, which isn't easy to do. A team that's the number one in the East, had a breakout year. And I think largely the reason why I think the Cavs are being taken a lot more seriously this year is because of the leap of Evan Mobley. I feel like a lot
Absolutely.
of people have expected him to make this jump maybe a year or two ago. but it looks like he's putting it together. And I will talk about this later, but I think that's what makes this team a legit threat to being the Celtics and coming out of the East. So I
So,
like what was that?
question for you about Evan Mobley. The reason why he wasn't on my list is because I kept shuffling back and forth between who's the number two option. Is it him or Darius Garland? I know that Darius has the numbers, but I want to ask you guys this: who's more valuable to the Cavs? If you took one off the team, are they a better team with Darius Garland, or are they a better team with Evan Mobley?
I I have a pretty definitive answer. I think it's Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley. The reason why they're this good now is because of Evan Mobley. He's one of the best defending bigs in the league. Um, could basically guard 1 through 5. Maybe not a lot of the great point guards, but who can in this league? Um, but the guy, he does everything. Darius Garland, he could score. He's gonna run their offense. He's gonna give Donovan the ball in his spots. Obviously some of the craziest handles in the league. But I think by far what Evan does on both sides of the floor. Second most valuable player on that team.
I
Easy.
think so too. I
Yeah,
think so too, which is
ab-
why I had him
absolutely.
as the number two option.
Yeah. And that's also tricky with the the third option kind of topic because just because you might be the third option on offense doesn't necessarily
Right,
mean you're the third best player on your
right.
team.
That's a
You
great problem to have though in Cleveland, right?
Yep.
I mean they got two guys that could be a number two or three because they bring different things to the table. So I like that pick a
Absolutely.
lot.
Yeah. Big fan of Evan Mobley over here. I'm sure we all are. But yeah, so after Mobley, the number one unanimous best third option in
Oh,
the this shouldn't even be a discussion anymore. I heard Lemon Pepper Lou Williams saying he's not even the best third option in LA, which I think is I just think that that tells me personally he doesn't watch a whole lot of Laker games. And it also
He's a
tells me
homer, bro. He's a Clipper.
yeah, it also
also a
tells me
Laker.
it
Yeah,
also
when they
tells
won 17 games.
it also tells me the guy on the top left of my screen doesn't watch that many Laker games either. But give me Austin Reeves, the best third option in the league. AR-15. They call him Luca and don't connect Snow Time. I love that nickname. I think it's great. Give me Snow Time. Give me give me the second head of the dragon in Snow Time. Austin Reeves. We've already talked about what clearly you can tell by some of these facial reactions. Um, but yeah, Austin Reeves, in my opinion, by far, at least offensively, I don't even think it's close.
No, it's not.
Overall impact, I think his offensive impact over it outweighs the other guys' some of their defensive abilities. But Austin Reeves, in my opinion, is easily the best third option in the
Okay,
league.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Jonah. Hold on. Do the Lakers have a legitimate shot to win the West?
absolutely. That was about to be my question for you guys. And
They do.
I want a yes or no. So
Yes.
I'm gonna ask I'm gonna ask both of you guys this question. And I just need a yes or no. You don't have to spend a lot of time talking about it. The Lakers have LeBron James, top 5 player in the league, yes or no?
Playoff time, I'll say yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vinny? Yes. They
Yeah.
have Luka
Mhm.
Doncic, top 5, generously, probably top 3, top 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's top three.
They have apparently Austin Reeves, the best number 3 option in the league, yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
So they have all 3 of that. Are the Lakers winning the championship this year? Yes or no?
It's hard to say because look at
No,
Boston.
no.
No, hold
I
on.
don't
No,
want to hear
no,
hard
no,
to
no. That
say.
is hard to say. No, that
Let's
is
hear
hard to
it.
say because look at Boston. Defending champions, they have Jalen Brown,
He's
Jason
not top
Tatum,
5.
Porzingis, Derek White, and Drew Holiday. That's
But
that's a that's a deeper starting lineup than any team in the league.
they're to piggyback off that, their other guys are better than our other guys. I think
Correct. They're deeper.
like our big three versus their
Ooh.
big three, I'll take our big three. But the
Okay.
Drews, the Porzingises, the Pritchards, we don't got those guys on our team. You don't have
No,
to, I don't think we have a bad supporting cast, but they by far have the best supporting cast in the league.
So then you got him at least making the finals because you didn't mention anyone in the West.
I think the two best supporting casts right now are the Thunder and the Celtics. And with that said,
I don't want to hear the
and
Thunder.
with that
We'll get
said, and
into
with
that
that
though.
said, And with that said, you still have to figure out a game plan to stop Jokic. So it's not like the Lakers have an easy path to the finals, but because I think they have those three guys at the top, they have a legitimate shot. But it's going to be how do the Lakers play small in the playoffs? How is that going to work? Okay. How are they gonna force teams to match up against them when they play small, or are the Lakers gonna try to force their way to match up with teams that play big? It's gonna be right now. I think the Lakers found success making teams match up to them, and I think that's gonna have to be the recipe for success. But it's it's not like the Lakers have an easy path, but because of those three guys, like yeah, they have a legitimate shot to win the finals. And
So
you take Austin Reeves off this team, I don't think they're in that conversation. I really don't. He's been that valuable to them.
that's a ridiculous statement.
He's been averaging over 20. He's been averaging over 20 and 6 over the last like almost 2 months.
Yeah, but a lot of that is without LeBron or without Luca. So he's the number two. But as
But
number three, I just don't see it. I think he
for,
needs the ball too much.
They,
as a
but
number two,
LeBron Reeves and Luca, they've played almost 17, 18 games together.
and as a number
And they've
two,
won.
if one of those guys is sitting out, whether it's LeBron or Luca, Austin's putting close to 30 a night. I mean, like this is 20 as a third option as with LeBron and Luca. When when LeBron or Luca's out, the dude's putting it's guaranteed. If you chat, I'll give you a little betting advice. I don't really give these out a whole lot. If LeBron or Luca are out, hit the over on everything, Austin Reeves. Guarantee money. Put your whole rent on it. You're gonna be making some bread. The guy, I would love to see what his exact numbers are without one of Braun or Luca. I bet you it's over 25 a game.
So let me ask you guys one more question
He's adaptable.
and
He's
then we can move
adaptable
on.
in any role.
Let me
Yep.
ask you guys one more question, just yes or no, and then we can move on. If Boston offered you straight up Derek White for Austin Reeves, are you, as the Lakers, accepting that trade? Yes or no?
What do you
You
got,
didn't
Drew?
even have to think about it. You guys said he's the best number. You usually didn't have to think.
Oh, I would have to say I would say give me a night to think about it.
So he's not the
That
best.
if I
You're
was
the best. You don't
Rob,
gotta think about it.
I mean, but it's like that's where that goes back to the argument that we were making, like value and bet. Like I think he's the best third option, but D White is also a really good defender.
Better
I
shooter.
think I think Derek White benefits a lot playing in Boston with those four guys. Porzingis, Holiday, Tatum, and Brown, just like Reeves benefits playing with LeBron and AD. But I think if they both, you take away the top players for Boston and you take one away from the Lakers, I think Austin Reeves would put up bigger numbers than Derek White.
I agree
I'm
with that.
confident in
I
saying
agree
that.
with that. But
You know what? For right now, no, I would take Austin Reeves. I would take Austin Reeves.
that's insane.
I would. I think they both benefit from playing for their teams. I think Derek White plays better with Boston than he would with the Lakers, and I think Austin Reeves plays better with the Lakers than he would with Boston. I think they're both in their perfect situations right now. But
I think we
yeah,
can
I'm going
all
to stand by that. Austin Reeves is the best number 3 option in the league.
I think we can all agree that it's basically pick your poison. If you want a guy who could generate more offense, run an offense at times, be the dude or the Robin, you're taking Austin Reeves. If you want a guy who's more of,
Dirty work.
you got
Championship battle tested.
you got your scoring down. You just need a guy that could play good defense and hit threes and do little stuff. It's Derek White. But
What
this
year?
year,
What year in the league is Derek White right now?
7-ish, 8. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Yeah. Austin Reeves in year 4. He's taken. You know the leap he's taken from year 3 to year 4.
and
It's
this
been
is
huge.
also
Hey,
we haven't brought up this. This is the first definitive year where he is the third option. He doesn't have to worry about getting minutes or getting shots or having to guard the best perimeter guy because his backup running core mate is D'Angelo Russell. This is his first year where we can actually see him as the third option. When LeBron or Luka are out, you're the second slash primary ball handler. I think this is the year where we see whether our takes are right with him. But
we'll
this
see.
is yeah, we will. I think we could agree to disagree to that.
We'll
All right.
revisit this
Well,
conversation in June. Don't worry.
yeah. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see what people think too. Is it Draymond Green or is it Austin Reeves? All
Hey,
right. So,
hey, when we put the poll up, Don't think about aura. Don't think about stats. Think about wins. Wins. Go ahead.
Yeah, think about a 36-year-old averaging 7 points a game. All right, moving on. This gets into a good segment. Overrated or underrated? So we won't talk about Draymond Green about that. We already have him in the conversation. But I want you guys to give one player that's overrated right now and one player is having an underrated season. It doesn't necessarily have to be the season they're having that makes them overrated. It could be a number of different reasons. Okay, but I want your guys' answer as to one overrated player in the NBA right now, one underrated player. We'll start with Andrew this time.
Oh, there's a couple. I feel like this year with
Yeah,
all the trades too has made
it's
it very interesting seeing these
yeah.
guys in different situations. Um, I think I think you guys are gonna say one one of my three like guys I was gonna go with for this, so I'll skip him. I think you guys would probably choose him. I think Jonah's gonna choose him actually, but I do want to talk about a guy who's kind of flown under the radar this year with his team. Um, they haven't had a great year, but they've definitely taken a leap this year. Very under the radar. They've been a lottery team for the last who knows long.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Does it
Haven't been
underrated?
good. They took a little bit of a leap in the right direction this year. It finally looks like that franchise um, is starting to figure out what they can build with what they have, where to go. I still think they need a trade, which I'll get into later. But the first guy for me who I haven't heard anything about is Denny Avia. Um, He's on the Blazers. Guy's averaging 16, 7, and 4 right now. 47% from field, 37 from the three-point line. In his last 10, what?
Who?
That's not where I thought you were going
Who?
with it.
Bro,
I thought you were about to say Cade Cunningham.
So did
Who?
I, bro. So
no,
did I.
Who?
no, bro,
Drew.
we're talking underrated. Bro, everybody
Who?
be talking about Cade. We're not doing that. Is this
Say his
what
name
is
again. Hey,
are
spell
we
his name, Drew.
Denny Advia, bro?
Who?
Bro, I'm not
This is a
What
Charles
college did he go
Barkley.
to?
This is Charles Barkley. What team does he play
Yeah,
for?
who he play for?
bro. If you're an all-star, you're not underrated. I'm sorry.
All Star.
Cade Cunningham is an
Cade
all-star.
Cunningham. Cade
Oh,
Cunningham was.
He's
I thought
been
you were going with
I thought you
Cade.
were about
I
to say
thought you were going with
Cade.
Cade.
no so
Cade's possibly like a guy I was talking about. But all
Yeah.
right, continue. Sorry, me and
okay.
Jonah just were caught off guard right there.
What?
No, man, we actually watch basketball over here, man. This is the unsung heroes section. You guys are gonna say, "Oh, Cade Cunningham or Paolo Banchero," but we've been knowing that. Denny Avia last 10, 23, 10, 5, 51, 51 splits. He's 24 years old. He's definitely on my radar to see how what his ceiling is, what he could kind of tap into. I don't think he can be like necessarily a perennial all-star by any means. He might not
Right.
even
It
make
doesn't
an
have to
all-star
be for an
game.
underrated player.
Yeah. But I do feel like that is kind of a name to watch. If he does get traded, um, I am very curious to see how he does on on a contender. Um, Big guy, around 6'8", can run can run an offense, can shoot, three-level scorer. There is a little conversation about his defense, but I think he's fine on that end. And just by the look that I felt from you guys when I was reading that name off, that was on A1 your list, but I also didn't want it to be on A1's list because I think the whole All-Star, I don't think All-Stars are underrated. I think I hope that we both or we all kind of took that approach and we're not saying guys that average 30 points.
All right, hold on, Drew.
Look,
That's enough Danny Atvia talk for the day. But
Bro, bro, I
that
mean,
was
are
great.
we, bro,
No,
who
that's a
is
great.
that?
No, that is great. It's not that I'm surprised that you picked a guy like that. I think that is Andrew pick. Like actually like knowing like a guy like that. I just was so ready for Cade Cunningham to come out of your
Absolutely.
mouth, and
Talking
it
about
wasn't.
franchise, turned it around, everything. I thought you were talking
Yeah, that's everything you said was like, this is Detroit. He's talking about the Pistons right
yeah.
now. Like they're going
Nah,
to be in the playoffs this year. They've been a lottery team.
nah,
I
man. Don't
think
get me wrong.
that
I
was
love
great.
I think
you guys know I'm a big K guy, but
uh,
I don't think he's underrated anymore.
let's
All
all
right.
I
come
think
around. Hey Vin, let's all
So
come
underrated, then we'll go overrated. Yeah.
yeah. But
All right.
let me just say
So
something real quick about Drew's pick. I think Portland is terrible. Like Portland is a terrible basketball team. And I think anybody can average 16 points on a terrible team.
but
You could
they're not
put Bronny James in that situation, averaging 16 points.
bro, but they're not even terrible.
They're terrible.
No, they're not. They're like the 11th seed. They've been not they've been
Is that
struggling
not
a
terrible?
little late, but they were close to the
that,
play-in.
that's still a lottery team, by the way.
That's horrible.
No, but
16
like
points, stop
they
it.
went from a team that gets 12 wins a year to okay, now they're actually they got something to look for. There's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, before it was
They
the
are the
tunnel, it was
12th. They are
big.
the 12th seed in the West right now.
That's terrible. All right.
But
They're really fighting with the Spurs for 12 and 13.
they're a
But
young team. Like I
they are
said,
a young team.
in my opinion, maybe not. They haven't made the greatest basketball decisions for the franchise. Um, but yeah, give me Denny. No, ain't nobody talking about no other podcast talking
All
about
right.
Denny.
All
All
right.
right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
My turn.
Jonah, you can take the
All
next one.
right.
Yeah.
So
Underrated.
last comment about Drew's. I think Drew, he kind of touched on. I think he's been into his gambling, and I think that's a guy that's been hitting for him. So I think that's the reason he put him on his most underrated players. Drew Abbott,
He
stop it.
he's been taking the under and it's been
Yeah,
working for
yeah.
him.
That's the only reason Drew picked at him. All right. So my most underrated player, this person, I don't think he was underrated at the start of his career, but I think people have kind of slept on him the past couple years. And the two people I'm with right now are not fans of his, and they're gonna make faces when I say the names. This person is averaging 25 points a game this year. He impacts winning on a level that I think is very underrated. He was a number two option last year on a team that knocked out Denver and the best player in the league, Nikola Jokic, got traded, which was a horrible trade for the franchise. And now that franchise is in no man's land. They're not good enough to compete. They're not bad enough to get a great pick. They kind of left Anthony Edwards out to dry, averaging 25 and 13 on the third best team in the East right now, the most underrated player in the league. He's closer to Anthony Davis than a lot of people want to admit. Give me Carl Anthony Towns.
Okay, hold on. What we're doing an underrated segment, Jonah, not an
Underrated.
MVP candidate. Like,
Yeah, underrated. He is
no,
underrated.
bro, like the guy, he's averaging like 28 and 12 on a number three seed. He's an
Why is no one
all-star.
talking about him?
What are you talking about?
No one talks about him.
Stop it,
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
bro.
He plays in the second biggest market, arguably the biggest market in basketball.
Yeah, and he might be better than Jalen Brunson if we're keeping it honest.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Let's
Let's
not go
not
there.
go there. He's still a number two option. He's still a number two option.
Maybe. He's
When
1A, 1B.
when we're talking about underrated segment, bro, I don't think
Yeah.
Cat fits into that. I mean, come on.
I don't know about that.
I
I
think
don't know.
everyone can.
Cat's a great player. He's a great
Yeah.
player.
Good player. He's
Is-
right there with Anthony Davis.
No,
No,
but
no, he's not. Not yet.
no.
Former number one
He's
pick.
more. He's been more available than Anthony Davis. I'll give him that, but he's not. He's not in that conversation. I don't think.
He's had an incredible year too. I think New
He-
York was really good for him. And
Yeah.
if I was the T-Wolves, I know they traded him so they could give Ant the bag, but that trade made absolutely no sense.
Horrible trade.
No sense. I like DiVincenzo with that team. I don't love the fit with Randall, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you were to give a guy like Anthony Edwards, a 7-foot center who could shoot, athletic, three-level scorer, plays good, underrated defender too. I think that series against the Suns when he lined up with KD a lot of that series, he did great on him. I just don't understand that trade, and I think it's
Yeah.
aging like milk.
That's why.
All
Carl
right.
is a great player.
So
Go ahead, Vin.
All right, so my underrated, I took a completely different approach than definitely Jonah. I'm taking I'm taking a player is I think his value does not show up in the stat book at all, like on the box score. And the only reason why I know this player is because he's someone that I watch every single game.
He's a
And
Laker.
then he is a Laker. He is a Laker. And I don't think the Lakers I know, I only say this because when the Lakers made the Luka Doncic trade, they gave up Max Christie. And Max Christie was really coming into his own, I think, as the Lakers, one of their best perimeter defenders, spaced the floor as a 3-point shooter, really a good 3-and-D guy. And I think when they made the Luka trade, I know that Andrew had this conversation with me. We didn't know where the Lakers were going to go, who was going to fill that void for them. We know they had, Dorian Finney-Smith, but I think this guy has really stepped up. He's not even on a full-time contract yet as of right now. The Lakers, I think, have maybe today or tomorrow to give him a full-time contract for the rest of the year, and I think they will. So you don't even know who I'm talking about, Jonah.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. And I hope you don't say this person's name, but go ahead.
I think I'm not saying he's the most underrated player, but right now he is underrated for me to where I got to talk about him. And it's Jordan Goodwin of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's averaging numbers wise, he's only averaging 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, but his value I don't think shows up in the box score. He
This,
brings
this
he brings a 3-and-D presence to the Lakers to a point where he is starting at shooting guard. I don't when Luke is not playing, but he's coming off the bench getting big minutes, and he's getting like valuable minutes down the stretch and helping the Lakers win big games right now.
when I hear underrated, say this is a guy, this is a pick that I like. I don't like the all-star, the multiple time number one pick, underrated. No, get out of here. Jordan Goodwin has been playing great basketball.
Great basketball.
Previously before he got to the Lakers, he had a stint with the Suns, stint with the Grizzlies. The only thing that kind of held him back was shooting the ball, but he's been shooting over
He's been
40%.
shooting. He's been shooting at a 40% clip from three.
Yep, with his stint with the Lakers, he
Yeah,
kind of gives me, with his role in the Lakers right now, he gives me a lot of Bruce Brown on Denver vibes. I think he's only 6'5", but he plays a
yeah.
lot bigger than his actual frame. The guy does all the dirty work. He's gonna play really good defense. The only reason why he hasn't found a whole lot of success and stability in the league is because of his shooting. And with the Lakers, with the purple and yellow, and Luka LeBron getting this dude open looks every single night, he's been knocking them down, shooting 40%. I love it. I love it. I think he's been
Look,
great.
I think some guys just need to find like good situations. Like not everyone's going to score 15, 20, but like there's value in other places that win championships. And I think he's a guy that you could glue in, space the floor because he's figured out how to shoot the three. And no one's ever knocked his defense. Like everyone said, if he was going to find a place in the league, it was because of that. And he's helped the Lakers fill a void that we didn't know who was going to take it when Max Christie was traded, because Max Christie really took on that role for the Lakers. He's been great, I think. Watching him every game, I think he's been great for the Lakers.
Yeah,
Underrated.
I don't know.
That's the segment, Jonah. Underrated.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple things on Twitter. I don't know if this is any truth to it, but I've been seeing some rumblings that the Lakers are either going to cut and or Landon Reddish. I would
Yeah,
assume that's a sign.
that would at least be yes. I would think
I
so,
would
right?
hope so. I would hope so. But
Uh,
that is what I've been seeing. I don't know if it's official or not. But
right.
I haven't seen a lot of rumors about that, and I think he does deserve a spot. And before we start the segment, when we mean overrated, it doesn't necessarily we think they're worse than how they're portrayed in the media. This could be like just because we think it's a bad fit with their team and we've been a little disappointed with how they're playing. This doesn't just mean we think they suck and everyone else um, doesn't think so. So yeah, Vinny, get us started.
I want Jonah to start it. I want Jonah to, just because Jonah has some passion with this one.
I actually changed my pick last minute. I was torn between two guys, and I think that the person I'm not gonna pick, I'll say is Shea. I'm not gonna pick Shea because I really
Well, good, because he's not overrated.
yeah, because Shea is a great player, but I do think he is slightly overrated. in the mainstream media, just because I've heard Michael Jordan comps, which is outlandish. But I think Shea is a great player. He's probably going to win MVP. So I'm not going to pick the MVP as the most overrated player. So the person I am going to pick is a person that I think has been overrated for the past 3 to 4 years. And I think it's because of their play style. And this person has a style of basketball that has historically never won. Now, there's not one example of this type player winning a championship. The 6'2" hyper athletic point guard that can't shoot, we've seen it not win. And this player is a version of that, but I don't think he's as good as the guys we've seen in the past. He's not as good as a Russell Westbrook in his prime. He's not as good as a Derrick Rose in his prime. He's not even as good as a John Wall because John Wall is a better defender and a better passer. And I think this person is he's a good player, but I think he's extremely overrated. He was being talked about like he's going to be the face of the league before he had his off the court issues. He's averaging 22 points this year on 44% from the field and 30% from three. A 6'2" point guard that can't shoot cannot be your best player to win a championship. Even though he is a ridiculous athlete and he needs to be in the dunk contest, I think Ja Morant is the most overrated player in the NBA.
It took me about halfway through your speech where I figured out where you were going with it.
I
It
figured
can't win. It
the
can't
off
win.
the off the court thing that was,
That's
but
crazy.
It can't
that
I
win.
remember
wow.
I remember 2 years ago you were saying Ja's knocking out the Lakers and all this talk.
It
You've
can't
changed a
win.
lot with that.
He's I don't like the 6'1" skinny can't shoot. I'm just trying to dunk. That's not gonna win. Russell
I
Westbrook couldn't win. Derrick Rose couldn't win. And these guys are stronger. They're better defenders than this guy is, and it's just not gonna win you a championship. And he's
All right.
extremely overrated in the mainstream media. Ja Morant.
Fair
I
enough.
I
Drew, you want me to take this one?
yeah, I just want to touch back on Jonah's point real quick. First of all, I would completely 100% disagree with that.
You guys
Uh,
disagree?
yeah, he hasn't had a great season, but the
Not at
Grizzlies
all.
are still a top 5 seed in the league. I
I think
think,
he's really valuable to Memphis, considering what they were last year without him.
and I also agree with that, and I think he's not even the most overrated guy on that team by any means. I think this his running mate. I think he's got a lot of
Desmond Bain?
no, the guy down low.
Jaren Jackson?
Yeah,
Very good player.
he's a
I
good
think
player.
he was an overrated defensive player of the year though.
Absolutely. I mean, they were saying he was the best defender in the league a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And he's just been extremely inconsistent this year, especially on the offensive end. I would
Yeah,
say
I'm surprised Memphis is as good as they are, considering their two best players I think have had good
down.
seasons.
Yeah.
They've had good seasons, but I'm surprised that they're fourth and hovering around 2 to 5 in the West right now.
Yeah.
It's just surprising they've managed to have a good season because I think Ja's had a down year for his standards. Jaren Jackson's been good, but they're still managing to be a top team in the West right now. So Ja
Yeah.
Morant for Jonah.
I'm
Drew, what do you got?
That's so
right.
that wow, that was
Being
not
insane. I'm curious. I have no idea where you guys are going, so I'm very curious to hear this.
I there's a lot of players I could be critical of right now. Let me look at my list real quick. One guy who this is, I think it's more of a compliment than a diss to him. I think he could be a multiple time All-Star. I think he could be a second option on a championship team easily. If he hits his ceiling. Um, I've been going a lot with these Portland guys, man. So this guy's averaging 17 and a half points a game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, not shooting the ball great this year, 44-33 splits. Um, I think I think he had his potential. He's got an extremely high ceiling. He kind of gives me a mix of flashes of Vince Carter, T Mac kind of vibe. I'm not saying he's going to be that player, but he has flashes
Oh,
where this guy's head's just
Is this an overrated or underrated
Yeah,
segment?
who
What are
is
you
this?
doing right now?
How's this
What are you doing right
overrated?
now?
overrated. This is
I know
overrated.
that, but you're talking about this guy being a number 2 option someday.
On a
No,
championship team, call him Vince Carter, Vinny.
I'm not calling. I'm saying he's had plays where he looks like that he can be that kind of guy.
So why is
Um,
he overrated then?
Wait,
because
wait, finish.
I
Who are you talking about?
oh, I'm talking
I
about
think I
Shaden
know who
Sharp.
he's talking about.
I'm talking about Shaden Sharp.
Who talks about Shaden Sharp?
Well, no, bro, I'm trying to shed some light on these teams that aren't in the big markets, bro.
Yeah, but he's not overrated.
Bro, I think I'm
You're
not
as Sharp, you think about Shannon Sharp. You don't even think about Shaden Sharp.
bro. Look, I think I'm. This
Uh,
isn't overrated. This is more just I've been disappointed because I really expected him. I thought he could take a huge leap this year. I think he's a guy that could average 25 points. I what? You watch the Blazers play and you
This
see some of
is
the shots he
hey,
takes and his
hey,
athleticism.
hey, audience. This is another Drew's bet that hasn't worked out for him. So
Bro,
another
that's
overrated.
why he's overrated. That's why he's over. The other one worked, so he's
His
underrated. This one
parlays
didn't
aren't
work, so he's
hitting.
overrated.
I wouldn't
Parlays
even
aren't hitting.
I would think my approach to this is more just my I had a lot higher expectations for his season this year. I thought he was going to be a guy that had a good chance of breaking out, kind of making like a Jalen Green leap this year. But he hasn't shot the ball well. He also he got a couple like he hasn't been playing a whole lot recently either. He got a couple DMPs. Don't know if that's part of the reason why he hasn't taken the jump. If there's any off court issues or work ethic or anything like that. But I would definitely say he's been a guy who I thought could be doing a lot more right now, and he has all the tools to be a great player in this league. I just I've been disappointed with him for sure.
All right, so we all took different approaches to this. Jonah was looking at like superstars. Okay,
He's not a
Andrew
superstar.
looking at his DraftKings hits or non-hits. The guy that I took he was traded to a team that had expectations, and that was really the first time in his career where he had expectations on him, and he has not lived up to it. I don't think they don't fit with him coming over, and he's also overrated to me because of the contract. How is there only 2 guys in the league that have a no trade clause? And one of them is LeBron James, and the other one is Bradley Beal of the Phoenix. Look at Bradley Beal. He had good numbers in Washington. Had 2 seasons of averaging 30, but they were a bad team in Washington at the time. He gets traded over to Phoenix, and yes, I will say this. Andrew kind of back on it earlier that some of these guys, it's not because they're bad players, but it's because they just don't fit with the team that they're with right now. And I think that's kind of what Bradley Beal's suffering from. I just don't think he fits with a Kevin Durant and a Devin Booker. He needs the ball in his hands. But for him to get the contract he did in Washington to have a no trade clause, and he's kind of holding it now over Phoenix's head of where he can go and trade. They're kind of stuck in limbo now. They're not good enough to contend with an aging superstar like Durant, but they're also in a position where they can't make a trade because Bradley Beal's holding his no trade clause. So Bradley Beal is going to be my pick for that. I just don't know how it ended up being. How did he get the no trade clause over other guys in the contract? Like
Yeah,
contract discussions.
Great agent.
I think yeah, whatever he's whatever part of the check that his agent's getting, he deserves more because I
Right.
I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. That is probably the worst contract in all of basketball.
Yeah, like Bradley Beal's a very good player. Do not get me wrong. Like he's shown flashes that he can average 30, but he has yet to prove on a contending team that's trying to make a run in the playoffs that he can be either the guy, which I don't think he necessarily is capable of that, which is it's no knock on him. A lot of guys can be number 2s and 3s, but he's not shown that he can really adapt into a role as a number 3 with Phoenix. I think if he did, Phoenix could be a really good team. But they've had trouble with those 3 guys shuffling who has the ball, who doesn't have the ball. And when they're trying to, make a deal to balance the roster, he's kind of held that over their head of he can dictate where he wants to go, and he really doesn't have the value to go to other teams because of the contract. So that puts us Phoenix in a really tough spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't I completely agree with you. Since you guys gave me so much crap for with Shade and Sharp or whatever, I'll give another one just really quick. Who I think fits the overrated. I don't think I necessarily my answer previously was just a little had a different motive behind it, but overrated, I think Rudy Gobert is right up in that talk too, with one of the worst contracts in the league. They basically shipped Cat over him. They basically decided they're going to build with Rudy and Ant. I think he's a liability at the defensive end come playoff time, and that's arguably the only reason why they have him there because you sure as hell ain't having Rudy Gobert as a guy that you could throw the ball after 20 a night. So
Yeah, that's a big contract too in Minnesota.
it's huge, man. And
Yeah,
they essentially chose Cat over him, and they
yeah,
just gave him an extension this last summer, I think. So
yeah.
since the people didn't love my Shannon Sharp take because nobody knows who that is, that's why
Yes, we do. Stop it. Yes, we
Hey,
do.
you don't get no redo picks. Stop it. That one don't count. You pick Shaden Sharp.
3 days later.
All right. So one more segment for the episode. I want to go into NBA power rankings. So I want us to pick out 10 teams. We're going to do it together. And I want us to come up with right now the top 10 teams in the NBA. So it doesn't have to be record. It's strictly how teams are doing right now in the NBA. So this could change in a week, 3 days, 2 days. It's just right now the top 10 teams, how they're doing in the NBA. We're going to do it together. It's something new we haven't done. We've been debating our own lists, and right now we're going to come up with a list together. So we're going to start with number one, and then we're going to go 2, 3, 4, and so on until we come up with the top 10 teams right now in the association. So what do we got?
All right.
I'm guessing one or two has got to be Thunder or Cavs, right? I mean, that's
Oh, it's
whoa.
number one, Boston, without a doubt.
I
Defending.
yeah, I would
are there because Boston's heating up. Are we really not going to respect the 59-12 Oklahoma City Thunder, who are 9-1 in their last 10 games?
No, we gotta respect championships first.
I
Celtics
I
are the best team.
I agree with Jonah. I gotta give the nod to the Celtics, unfortunately. They didn't lose any guys. I am curious to see how long Tatum ends up being out with that ankle, whatever sprain roll. That did look pretty nasty, but I mean they got all their guys. They're playing good ball. Honestly, they might have gone a little better just because their role players have been playing well. Payne Pritchard, sixth man of the year, in my opinion, probably. Yeah, I think it's the Celtics for sure. I would be lying if I said I think the Cavs or the Thunder would beat them in a seven
So
game.
are you guys approaching this right now as teams you think line up in the playoffs like they're the team to beat, or this is strictly how teams are doing in the association right now?
I'm taking this in a way as in who's the favorites to win the championship.
Okay.
I think
I
it's
might shift my focus a little bit.
I think it's got to be a combination of both how you're playing and also your resume. The Celtics have that championship confidence this year, and I think they're kind of coasting in the regular season a bit. But I think when they turn it on, they're locked in. They're the best team in the league, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's got to be the Celtics. It's got to be.
All right, two, second
All right,
best
so we
team.
got Celtics one.
This is an interesting one.
I I think we all kind of agree on the top four, but I think how we rank after one, I think it's gonna get a little tricky. It's gonna get a little sticky. But
Let's all
yeah,
say our team. Two, I got OKC.
I
I
got
mean, at some point we're gonna have to respect 59-12.
I
yeah,
got
We have to.
I
Because
got
it's not like they're 59-12 and over the last 10 games they're playing 500 ball. They're 9-1 and they're getting healthy
yeah.
at the right time.
I got
Crusoe's been coming back, Chet's been coming back. Like I understand they're young, but at some point, like we got to take them serious, right?
yeah. I
All
I
right.
OKC.
definitely think they're probably the second favorites to win it all. Like you said, getting everyone back. Does anyone know how long Jalen's out? not Chet Williams, but Jalen Williams.
Not Seth Williams.
I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but I don't. From what I've seen, he'll be back before around playoff time. They're getting everyone back. The role players are finally. I mean, they have the whole season, but now they're starting to see like what it's actually going to be like with everyone back, with Chet back. Um, been the best team all year, basically.
Absolutely.
They got the MVP. I mean, yeah, the Thunder.
What
They do have
question?
a
Oh,
question mark over their name just because of lack of experience. But I think we that is something we find out in the playoffs. I don't think it'll necessarily be too big of a problem. They got some vets now, so yeah, give me OKC at two. What do you guys think?
I
I,
agree.
I got a. I agree with the Thunder, but I got a question for you. Either one can answer about Shea because we know he gets to the line well. A lot of his points come from getting to the line. He has a good whistle, but it seems like in the NBA, when the playoffs roll around, the whistle isn't as frequent. So, do you think that's going to play a factor into Oklahoma City making a run? If Shea is he going to continue to get the whistle that he's been getting this season? That's going to lead him to an MVP.
I would say I don't think he's gonna get the same whistle just due to the fact that every year these type guys, we've seen it with James Harden, like you just don't get those same calls.
Right.
I think those type of guys that like to sell the calls, like a James Harden, like a Shea, even like a Trey Young, they struggle in the playoffs. They don't get those same calls. Whereas the guys like LeBron, those bigger guys that don't get the calls in the regular season, they're used to it in the playoffs. So I think OKC's going to take a step back just due to that. But I think overall, they're still, I think we have to respect what they've done at number two right now.
I
Fair
also
enough.
add on to that. I think yes, I agree that the calls will be a little different and the free throw discrepancy is going to be a little different, especially for Shea. But I don't think he gets affected as much in the playoffs by that as opposed to a guy like James Harden. I think he's still going to be getting around 25 to 32 every night in the playoffs. His efficiency might be down, and we have seen that a little bit in the playoffs with him, but I wouldn't necessarily compare him to guys like James Harden or the Joel Embiid who notably have a decline in the playoffs, or at least don't play better in the playoffs. I think Shea, um, his game translates well to the playoffs. He's got three level score, uses that mid range real nice.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see how those calls affect him.
That's debatable. I'm not ready to put him above a Harden or an Embiid yet. We gotta see.
Johnny, you've come a long way to admit something bad about James Harden.
What I say bad about James
I know. I was
It's
dead
just you
right
were
there.
honest. You just were honest. You talked about how in the playoffs they tend to struggle because
I
he's not
am
getting the whistle.
always honest.
If people
Always.
for the people out there that don't know, Jonah has defended James Harden more
Absolutely.
than anyone I've ever met in my life.
James Harden is this is a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
we'll save it. James Harden is better than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Third greatest shooting guard ever, but that's another conversation. We'll leave it there. All right, number three.
You're so good at, bro. You're so good at faith, bro. Oh my God, you just get me ready to jump through this.
Number three. That's it. That's another combo.
Yeah. You
All
good?
right. So we got Boston, we got Oklahoma City. My third team, I still feel like the West, if it's not going to go through Oklahoma City, it's got to go through Denver.
Oh.
If we're now shifting the focus towards because going into it, I was thinking, where are teams at right now? But if we're talking about like if the playoffs started today, I feel like that's kind of what you guys are going with, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd have to put Denver at 3. What do you guys think?
You'd put them one. I don't know if I agree with it running. I think the Lakers are right there with the Nuggets in the West, but the Cavs as well. I definitely think maybe not 3, but
Well, we're on 3.
I know, but I'm saying I'd probably have them above the Nuggets.
Ah, I agree with Vinny. I'm going Denver.
Why is that? What for you has shifted from Denver? Because going into the conference finals last year, I think they were still the favorites. or going into this, they were expected to go to the conference finals, I should say, because Minnesota beat them in the second round. What changed for you in 2025 for that to be that Cleveland, Oklahoma City, and Boston could be ahead of them?
I'll give you 2 words that changed my mind.
Russell Westbrook?
Nah. Nah. JJ Redick. I think teams.
Well, hold on. We're talking about Cleveland, though. We're talking about Cleveland.
No. I know, but I think JJ Redick. He
I don't disagree with that, but
threw at a no, I'm not saying the Lakers. I'm saying the type of defense that they threw at Jokic. I think teams
I
have
see what you're saying.
kind of lived with like, hey, we're gonna make it tough as hell on Jokic. We're gonna make Russell Westbrook. We're gonna make Christian Brown. We're gonna make Aaron Gordon beat us. I think that's kind of the blueprint of what teams are gonna throw at the Nuggets defensively. I do expect Malone to not kind of show all of his cards in the regular season. But I do think for the first time, defenses now have a structure that they can throw at the Nuggets and give them some serious problems in the playoffs.
So are you telling me that first year coach JJ Redick is the reason why Denver may not get back to the finals this year?
You guys are really high on JJ Redick.
I love JJ Redick. I wasn't the one that said that though. Are you saying that he's the one that have given other teams an idea of how to guard the Nuggets? And how to approach them with a game plan?
I think there's a difference between like having a game plan and hoping for the best versus executing. I think the Lakers did a great job of executing that. But the Nuggets also haven't been playing great as of recent.
But like you said, Malone's not going to show all his cards in the regular season. I think if you get into a 7-game series with how Jamal Murray steps up in the playoffs, I still think that they're in a 7-game series really tough to beat. And they're a mismatch. Jokic is a mismatch. Like the Lakers played well that game, but in a 7-game series, it's going to be interesting to see, are the Nuggets going to have to match up to the Lakers, or are the Lakers going to have to match up to Denver, right? Because those are two completely different brands of basketball. One team's going to play small, and another team with Jokic is going to play big. But so are we now leaning? Is it Denver or the Lakers at 3? I mean, where's Cleveland fall into this? So let's just go 3. Are these the 3, 4, 5 that we have?
I got Denver 3, Lakers 4, Cleveland 5.
I
don't. But let me say something about Cleveland. I think we've seen a Cleveland Cavaliers almost every year for the past 10 years. We've seen an Atlanta Hawks. We've seen even like an OKC from last year. These young teams that don't have a superstar. And yes, Cleveland.
You got to put some respect on Donovan Mitchell.
Don't disrespect Spider like that now.
No, I'm going to say that. No, that Atlanta Hawks team didn't have a Donovan Mitchell.
Is Donovan Mitchell a top 10 player in the league? I don't think so. So how are you a superstar?
It's a great question.
Donovan Mitchell is a very good player, but he's not, to me, a guy that's going to lead a team to a championship. So that's why I don't have Cleveland in that top 4. I got them at 5.
When we were go for it, Drew.
Okay. I personally have the Lakers as 3, Nuggets 4, then Cavs 5.
So when I was going into this, I think my mindset was in a little different spot. I wasn't thinking so far ahead to season ending today, playoff starting. And that's why I think I had Cleveland and OKC at the top, just in terms of how the season has gone so far. But if we're shifting the focus to like 7-game series, I would probably have to go. I still have to respect Denver. I mean, obviously, I think the Lakers are really dangerous, but because of Nikola Jokic and because they've already won at the highest level, I would probably go Denver, Lakers, Cavs. Cavs would be higher on the list if it wasn't so shifted to like if the season ended today. But
honestly,
so where do we want to go with that?
I think we could go Nuggets 3. I'll be fine with Nuggets 3.
Nuggets 3, Lakers 4.
Okay.
Now, before we pencil in Cavs at 5, going off of what I just said, Cleveland to me, Just
So who would you have ahead of him?
Cleveland, I don't think has a better chance to win the championship than Golden State. I think Golden State has a better chance to
That's
win.
a fair. That's fair.
I'd
Go
be
ahead.
shocked if Cleveland won the championship. If Golden State somehow won it, I wouldn't be as shocked. So, how do we feel about Golden State potentially at that?
The only reason why I don't know if I can go there is because of how loaded the West is and how jammed up the Western Conference is. Because look, right now, Golden State still might be a play-in team. They're a half game ahead of the Clippers and Minnesota for the 7 and 8. They're in the sixth spot right now, but only a half game ahead. So they still have a hill to climb, and the big thing about the West is matchups. Right now,
Yep.
season ended today. They're playing Denver in the first round.
They ain't
I
beating
like
Denver.
I don't like their chances against Denver in the first round. But in the first round, Cleveland is playing the winner of the Hawks, Magic, Bulls, or Heat for the play-in tournament. And I think they beat any of those four teams as it stands right now. So it's the West is just such a juggernaut, and Golden State put themselves in an early hole because they were playing so far behind that I don't know if I could put them in the top five yet.
Yeah, yeah. Keep the Warriors out of our top five. Yeah, no, we're not on that yet. We're not. I
Well,
do agree though. It is so, especially the West. It's so heavily reliant on matchups because
100%.
I would probably give the Warriors a better chance of beating the Thunder than I do the Nuggets.
oh, I don't know about that one.
The
I would
Warriors might have the best player in the series in
versus
that.
Denver?
I don't think they do versus the Nuggets.
Oh, versus OKC.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair assessment. Why do
Yeah.
you disagree with that, with Jonah?
No, I misinterpreted it. I think both of those teams, if they were in
Could
a
beat
series,
Oklahoma
I
City.
think Golden State and Denver, I would pick either of those teams to be OKC. Championship experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's maybe fair to say Golden State's one of the five most dangerous teams, but they put themselves too far in a hole for me when the season started to say like right now because of the way the matchups look that they could be number five. So are we good with Cavs five?
Cavs 5.
Yeah. Cavs
All
5.
right, so we're halfway there, but now it gets really interesting because we have teams like Golden State, we have a 45 win New York Knicks team. We I would say like maybe Milwaukee, but I mean the Damian Lillard news
They're
that came
done.
out that's tough. That's tough.
They're
Rolling
probably
out.
out for the
Hope
year.
all the best for Damian Lillard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And it's like you got a team like the Rockets who just skyrocketed to the second seed. I think there's so many questions around the Rockets. I don't know if I'm super high on them in the playoffs just because I don't think they got enough scores.
they're another team like Oklahoma City. Like there's not much experience there. I know they have Fred, but there's not a lot of experience there with how young they are. But what? What's so funny?
You said, well, first of all, Fred VanVleet, I don't know if he's known as Fred. Like,
You all knew what I was talking about.
I've never heard anybody call Fred VanVleet Fred.
Y'all knew what I was talking about.
I don't
Everyone
know.
knew.
I don't know if he's necessarily leading that team to on a
That's my point. That's my point. He has the experience, but the young guys that actually like get bulk of the scoring, they don't. But it's
Yeah.
different with the Thunder because like their best player is going to win the MVP. But I'm going to agree with Andrew on that. Like they're 47-26. They've won 9 out of 10, but I don't know. I think that there's 4, 5, maybe 6 teams that I could say could beat them in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
So
100%.
we go with Golden State at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's either them or it's probably them. I think the Knicks deserve a conversation, but I think I'm good with Golden State at 6.
The Knicks they've been scaring me a little bit. I mean, I know they don't got JB, but they're missing out on their best player, obviously, but a lot of their injury problems, like they're not gonna get better, bro. Like Tibbs just runs his guys through the goddamn floor every night. Like it's like these guys are pulling up to the postseason banged up. Like it's only going to get worse in the playoffs. I mean, it's not like he's going to play them less. Like they don't really have a lot of depth. I mean, outside of Cat, they don't have a big. Like I think they're a great team. Tough, bad team to see in the playoffs, but they've been scaring me a little bit for sure with their injuries.
All right, so we're gonna go Golden State 6.
7.
So now
I'm a,
is it New York? Is it a Houston? Is it a Memphis Grizzlies?
can I throw out another team with tons of experience that I think is a sleeper? How about the James Harden-led Los Angeles Clippers at 7? How do we feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know if I can go there because
Why?
I just haven't seen enough of Kawhi.
Kawhi,
Kawhi hasn't been Kawhi yet. You know,
When
like he's been on the floor, but he hasn't been playing other than that Laker game. I mean, he hasn't been playing a lot of minutes.
in a playoff series, I think Kawhi could beat any team in the West outside
I
of.
think he can too at his best, but we haven't seen that yet.
What about James Harden? James Harden's been hooping this year, arguably third team All NBA.
Yeah, but we've seen this movie
We've
before in the
seen, yeah,
playoffs. So the only I agree with Kawhi. I think in the playoffs he turns into when he's
he
healthy,
does when
when
he's
he has
healthy.
a
We haven't
team,
seen.
and
He is.
he won the championship. He's a top 5 player in the playoffs.
Be-
But
Being on the
hasn't been
floor,
healthy.
being on the floor versus being healthy are two different things, Jonah.
I
He's
think
been on the floor.
I think he's coasting. I think he knows his body and he knows he has maybe 100 basketball games at 100% left in his career. And I think he's holding it until the playoffs.
Well, let's use that logic for a second. If that's what he's doing, they're currently seventh in the West. They're in the play-in right now. Like if he's gonna coast the rest of the season, they might not make the playoffs.
They're gonna make the playoffs. Don't worry about that. I
So
guarantee.
they're gonna win the. So they're gonna win the playing game if they're in it.
We're not worried
They
about
were in it 2 years ago and they lost.
we're not this is a different team.
All right,
I
so
understand that. I'm just proving a point. Like the play-in is such a wild card. Like anything can happen.
you're going against
Not worried
teams
about Dallas.
like the Warriors, like the T-Wolves, who Anthony Edwards is a dog. You don't want to see that guy in the playoffs.
Yeah, for one game too. For one game, go against Anthony Edwards.
One game, James Harden could drop 50 and lead you.
You,
Yeah, I'll give you $1 million when we see that in the playoffs, Jonah.
He's done it in the playoffs. Not a lot of people can say that.
look at also a one game against Kevin Durant too. Like I know Phoenix hasn't been that team,
Yeah,
but a one game, like anything
Against-
can happen.
That's all I'm
you got
saying.
you got 2 perennial All-Stars, KD and D Book. I don't want to see them.
They don't
One
play
more
I'm
game
saying,
to win.
all I'm saying with the thought process you have, Jonah, I don't think Kawhi is coaching because I don't think his mindset is like if we're in the play-in, it's okay. So I'm gonna save some energy. I just don't think he's back up to full speed that we've seen in the past, which is why I don't know if I can put the Clippers as a
I can't.
top 7 team. I can't do that.
I can't. That's disgusting.
Who you guys got?
I don't know. Are they top? Are
Clippers.
they even top 10 right now? I don't know.
The Clippers have 2 first ballot Hall of Famers, and you guys aren't ready to put them there. So
That are
got
that are aging, and one of them is coming off a major injury that he has yet to fully recover from.
who you guys got at 7? Let me hear your team.
I would
Silence.
probably have to.
I would go with the Knicks. I'd go with
probably have to go the Knicks, but I do have a wild card too.
I'm not mad at the Knicks. Who's your wild card?
What about the Pacers?
I knew you were gonna go there.
I don't know. Stop it.
Eastern Conference
can't.
Finals last year, beat the Knicks. They before Tyrese got hurt, they were giving the Celtics a real run for their money. They
So let's think about it. So they beat the Knicks last year, but you add Cat. Let's assume Brunson comes back healthy. I don't know if they're beating New York in a 7-game series now.
No, I'm not worried about the pace.
It went 7. It went 7 last year, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think. I think the addition of Karl Anthony Towns.
I could take the
Changes
Knicks.
that
I could
series.
take the Knicks at 7, but I would put the Pacers probably before the Clippers.
Okay, so we got Knicks 7. Can
Knicks
we go
7.
there?
It's
I
7.
feel like they've earned that. Okay, so 8, 9, and 10. Is Memphis a top 10 team?
My most overrated player, Ja. I don't.
They don't really scare me in the playoffs.
They
Dude.
don't either. I don't think so.
We've seen
I think
we've seen this movie before. It's like, yeah, Ja's good. Jaren's cool, but it's like they don't really got any other guys.
I think the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Warriors,
Clippers.
the Clippers, and
Yeah.
maybe even Minnesota could beat them in a 7-game series.
I think
Minnesota's a toss up for me, but I think all those other teams I would go into it betting on the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Warriors against Memphis.
I think 80% of those teams could probably beat them in 5 too, to be honest. Like
And is it an inexperience? Is it just matchup problems? Like what is it? Because when Jaw's healthy, they've been a very good team the last 3 years.
is I think it's Ja has to be. I mean, when all these teams in the West, they all got these crazy like top 5 players. You got guys like Steph, you got guys like Jokic, you guys got LeBron, Luca, you got Harden, you got Kawhi, like you got Shea, you got is Ja the best player out of all? Like he's got to be not only better than them, but his role players also have to be better than
Be
theirs.
really good, yeah.
I just don't think they have enough star power.
All right, so let's assume that we're not going to have Memphis or Houston in the top 10 with
Mm,
3 teams left.
They can maybe be
So
9.
where could we go? We got
I think Houston's in my
the Clippers.
I got
Okay, so we got say that again, Jonah.
I got Clippers at 8. I think you have to respect Harden and Kawhi.
It's hard for me to say that because Kawhi has not been healthy for a full playoff series in 5 years. Like I'll believe it when I see it.
I think with how much more open the East is, I'd probably take Indiana over the Clippers right now.
Stop.
I haven't seen enough of Kawhi Leonard yet.
We'll take. That's
They're
a
42 and 29. Like I wasn't gonna take them over the Pacers, or I wasn't gonna take them over the Knicks or the Warriors. But now that we're getting down to the bottom here, they were in the conference finals last year. They're 42 and 29. They're fourth in the East. They've won 7 out of 10.
They have
The last 3. It seems like this is gonna be agree to disagree. So we're gonna have to come up with something.
All right, put Indiana there, and then Clippers right behind them.
what question 2? Where do you guys think what do you guys think about the Pistons? They've been playing great ball.
Not worry about them.
Who's that?
The Pistons, Detroit.
Yeah, no, they're not in the top 10. They've had a good season though.
Stop it, Andrew.
Look
Don't.
at
I mean,
we thought you were going. We thought you were going Cade
You
Cunningham.
had your chance
right?
to talk about Cade.
Yeah, you had a chance.
What's his name from Portland?
Look at yeah.
All stars are underrated, man. I'm not a believer in that.
All right,
Well,
so we got
they're
Clippers
41 and
8.
32. He could be underrated for that.
So
But,
8
no.
we read Indiana, 9
Yeah.
Clippers.
I slow your roll on the Clippers. Nobody.
Yeah, you're kind of just pushing that one in there,
Yeah,
Donna.
you're not slick, buddy.
I don't know.
Clippers are a
Like,
top 10 team.
There's just so many question marks.
We have a top 5 coach,
don't say we. We're not talking we here.
maybe a top 3 coach.
I don't know all about that now, but that's another conversation.
We got a new arena.
What's that got to do with it?
Oh, yeah. Watch out
What
for
does
the
that gotta do?
guys.
With great home court advantage. Better
what
than the
fans?
Lakers.
With
if
the
it's
Lakers?
honest. A
You
better
guys
home
got-
court advantage than the Lakers.
Clippers got a student section that you guys can't even get like, fans in, bro. You gotta get fans in the building. You guys got a student section.
College environments are way harder than like a Lakers environment where it's just celebrities sitting there, not even cheering.
Yeah, you got to show up to the game though if you're gonna cheer. Clippers don't be selling out.
Yes, they do. You kidding me?
You ain't never been to one Clipper game in that new arena. I promise you that. I'm the only one in this goddamn Zoom that has. And let me tell you, I could have moved courtside if I wanted to, and nobody would have cared. So nah, miss me with that.
All right,
I
Indiana
don't-
8. Indiana 8. We gotta start wrapping it up. 9. Who we got?
Houston.
All right, Houston, then Clippers. You go with that, Vin?
I'd be okay with. I'd be okay with Houston. I mean, they're going to be a 50-win team this year when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
50 plus.
Their defense is elite too. Ime's got
They have a really good coach. They have a great coach.
Yeah. like
But
Ime's been great. He's gonna get them right for the playoffs. They don't fear anybody. I am worried about their offense a little bit. think they have? Like, who would you guys say is their best player?
That's the thing for me, and especially like in the West, like you need an undisputed guy that you can get the ball to.
Yeah, they're not. They're
But I think we do have, because it's getting so low here. I think that the top half is heavy of the contenders. I think so. I
eight,
think you got to respect 47 and 26.
8, 9, and 10 could have been six,
Yeah.
7 different teams. So
Yeah.
All right. So for 10, I'd either go the Clippers or the T Wolves.
Yeah.
So what do we think?
That's a toss up, man. I mean, I love Ant. Jaden McDaniels is great. They got some new guys too. Rob Dillonham's been playing pretty well. Terrence Shannon's been playing decent, but just like Gobert, I don't know. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Gobert.
Right.
It basically is gonna have to be
Anthony Edwards. So it's
exactly.
gonna have to
Ant-Man's gonna
be
have to put on the cape and carry him since
So for that reason, I'm okay putting Clippers 10 because Tyronn Lue is a very good coach.
yeah.
And you know what? I'll go with, hopefully you're right, Jono. Let's see if Kawhi is coasting. No,
Ball Harden, this is our year, baby. Let's do it.
Hey, I would love to see the Clippers upset a team like the Thunder. Like I think if Kawhi's healthy in that series gets really interesting.
A
Um,
Lakers Clippers series would be fun to watch.
oh, that'd feed families,
It'd be
baby.
fun to
Oh,
watch.
those
All
ratings
right, so
jumping.
in order, we went Celtics, Thunder, Nuggets, Lakers, Cavs, Warriors, Knicks, Pacers, Rockets, Clippers. Everybody out there, feel free to let us know. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Who who would you have had in there, or in what spot? We definitely want to engage in conversation with this one. This is our first time doing something together instead of going up against each other. So um, we gave you our list. Let us know yours. Thank you again. So we had 3 basketball segments. Next week, just stay tuned. We're gonna have something a little different to start the episode. Maybe something in the music world.
Excited for that
So
one.
just stay tuned for that. I won't go into too much detail. I just know John and Andrew have been waiting for this one, so that's going to be coming. We have a lot of things coming. Continue to stay locked in. We're having a lot of fun with this, and until next time, guys, the garage is closed.